into the culture in your program. So if you could share with the Shamrock Nation a little bit about your faith-based journey.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, it's always been our goal not to win a game. It's never been our goal. It's never been our goal to win a championship. We don't have any signs up in the building anywhere I've ever coached, and for 17 years at Alabama, that says win the SEC, win the national championship. We don't have any of those signs. We have a sign that says, and a pyramid that says, be a champion. And there's some ladders in that if you can do these things, you will actually have a chance to win a championship, because you'll be a champion in life by making good choices and decisions and doing the right things. So that's what our program was based on. How can we create more value for your future by you being the best person you can be, doing the right things, making good choices and decisions that are going to help you be successful and accomplish the goals that you have in life? How are you going to do the best that you can as a student so that you have a chance to develop a career off the field and prepare yourself the day you can't play football? And what are you willing to invest in being the best player you can be, so maybe you have a future as a football player? So we never, ever talked about winning. We always talked about, what do you have to do to be successful? You know, every player that I ever coached, the first thing I asked was, what do you want to accomplish when you come to the University of Alabama? And the guy would say, I want to be a good person, I want to graduate from college, and I want to play in the NFL someday. And my next question to the guy would be, do you understand what that entails? Do you know what it takes to do those things? And most of the guys would sit there and they really couldn't give me a good answer. So we would define, what does it take for you to accomplish these goals that you've established for yourself? You know, people always ask me about the process. What is the process? What is the process? The process is very simply the definition of what you have to do to accomplish the goals that you have as a person, a student, a player, whatever. Successful business person. So we would sit down and we would define exactly what this person has to do to be able to accomplish these goals. And I would tell the person, now I'm going to come up to you every now and then and say, how you doing? Are you making progress toward these goals and aspirations that you have? And the guy would say yes, and I would say why? Or he would say no, and I would say why? Because I wanted you to self-assess. I want you to be able to feel like, what am I doing? Am I doing the right things? Am I making the right choices and decisions? So that you can self-assess. You don't have somebody else looking over your shoulder saying, if you did this or if you did that, you could do it better. Because that's important to being successful as well. And the third part of that is, and the most important part, is, do you have the discipline to execute it every day? We made this choice and decision of what we want to accomplish and what we want to do and who we want to be. And now we've defined exactly what you have to do it. We've even talked about, how do you have to edit your behavior to do it? By self-assessing. But now, do you have the discipline to execute it every day? If you can't understand this concept, all you have to do is think about, I want to lose 10 pounds, which is my goal. Slim Fast gives me exactly what I have to do every day to do it. Where do I fail on this diet? Don't have the discipline to execute every day. 3 days into the diet, I'm eating pie and ice cream again. So what is discipline? I know that's one of the 3 words that you talk about as your motto as a school. But can you define discipline for me? I mean, there's a lot of signs that say discipline is do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done, do the right thing, the right way, the right time, all the time. And those are great definitions of discipline. But we're talking about self-discipline here. We make hundreds of choices and decisions every day that come down to 2 questions. Here's something I know I'm supposed to do that I really don't want to do. Can you make yourself do it? Over here, there's something you know you're not supposed to do, but you want to do it. Can you keep yourself from it? So if you can make these choices and decisions correctly every day, and they start when the clock goes off in the morning. I don't feel like getting up. I don't feel like going to school today. I don't feel like practicing. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like going to church. I don't feel like serving mass. I went through all these things growing up. Went through them all. But you have to be able to make those choices and decisions the right way, to have the discipline to be able to make those choices and decisions. Got to put your choices ahead of your feelings. Because if you do what you feel like doing, you're not going to get up. You're not going to study. You're not going to go to church. You're not going to do all the things that you need to do to accomplish the goals that you have. So, this little bridge that you have to cross between doing what you feel like doing and choosing to do the things you need to do to accomplish the goals that you have. That's very, very important. I think the most important thing to being successful. So it's a mindset and it's a culture. But if you want to be a good person, you want to graduate from school, you want to develop a career off the field, you want to be the best player you can be, all those things. You want to be successful in business. I don't care what it is, it's going to come down to establishing that kind of mindset and culture for yourself. You know, when I was a player in high school, we had one rule in basketball. You can't talk to the officials. You can't say anything to the officials. So we're playing a crosstown rivalry. It's actually where Senator Joe Manchin went to school, Farmington versus Maryland, back in West Virginia, where I grew up. So I dive for a loose ball. The other guy knocks it out of bounds. The score's tied at the end of the game. We're playing for the championship. Whoever wins this game is going to win the championship. And they give the ball to the other team, and I jump up and say something to the official and get a technical foul when the score's tied. So we end up losing the game. Guy made the foul shots. We lost the game. So the next day, when we come to practice, coach would say, get on the line. The line that's right there at center court. Everybody line up, could say what he had to say, and we'd go practice. I go to line up. He said, you're out. So I left the court. Next day I came, got on the line, says, you're out. Next day I came, he said, you're out, but I want to meet you in the locker room. And he has this thing up on the wall. It says, undisciplined players do dumb things. Disciplined players never do dumb things. Which are you? So I had to answer that question before I could get back on the team. But anyway,